Hello students, in this video I'm going to review the 5 themes of geography. The 5 themes of geography help us ask good questions and carefully consider any geographic topic from 5 different points of view. The first theme is place. Place refers to the physical and human features of a particular spot on Earth. An example of a place is the state of Oklahoma. A physical feature of this place would be that it's pretty hot. A human feature would be that nearly 4 million people live here. When we're talking about places, we want to ask the question, what is it like? The next theme is location. Location describes where a place is. For example, Oklahoma is located in the center of the United States. It is north of the state of Texas. When we're talking about location, we want to ask the question, where is it? There are 2 different ways to describe locations. One way is very specific. This is called the absolute location. You can describe the absolute location with a street address or GPS coordinates. The other way to describe locations is relative location. This is a very general way of talking about a location, and it is talking about a location in relation to other places. For example, if you were describing the location of Oklahoma in relative terms, you would say it's north of Texas, south of Kansas, and between Arkansas and Colorado. Another example, if you were describing the location of your apartment building, would be to say it's across the street from McDonald's, or it's between the park and the library. Here is an example with our school. The absolute location of Wheeler Middle School is 501 Southeast 25th Street, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, or using the GPS coordinates, 35 degrees north and 97 degrees west. The relative location is a more general description in relation to other places. So I could tell you that Wheeler Middle School is west of I-35 and south of downtown OKC. The third theme that I'll talk about is regions. We talked about regions a lot last week. So we already know that a region is a wide area or a group of places with common characteristics. When we're talking about regions, we want to ask the question, what does a group of places have in common? An example of a region is Tornado Alley. This is a wide area in North America where a lot of tornadoes occur. That's the common characteristic that all the places in this region have. There are a lot of tornadoes, and that's why places would be included in Tornado Alley. The fourth theme is movement. Movement refers to why and how people, goods, and ideas go from place to place. When we talk about movement, we want to ask questions like, where are people, animals, and goods going? How and why? An example of movement is when oil, which is a good, moves through pipes from oil fields in Oklahoma to places around the U.S. where people need to use it. The last of the 5 themes is human-environment interaction. This refers to how people and the environment, or the earth, affect one another. So when we're talking about human-environment interaction, or HEI for short, we want to ask questions like, how do humans affect the planet, and how does the planet affect humans? For example, humans pump up oil from the ground using a technique called fracking. This causes earthquakes, which destroy buildings. But Mrs. Darnell, you may ask, why should I care? That's an excellent question, person watching this video. Why should you care about the 5 themes of geography? Well, I have some answers for you. The 5 themes help us organize our thoughts about a geographic topic. They help us come up with good geographic questions. And they also help us make sure we look at all the sides or aspects of a geographic topic. If we want to understand a geographic question, we need to consider all of the layers of the question. And I like to think of each theme as a layer of the question. And I'll illustrate this by considering the question, what should I do in Oklahoma City this weekend? First, I'd like to look at the location of Oklahoma City. We know it's a large city in the middle of the state of Oklahoma. And so here I've zoomed in on an intersection in downtown Oklahoma, the intersection of Reno Avenue and Robinson Avenue. This is a specific location. All right, you may say, this is an intersection, but what's it like there? What kind of places are there? Excellent question. The next layer we want to look at is place. So one of the places near this intersection is Chesapeake Energy Arena. That's where the Thunder played. Okay, so we know one place in this intersection, but can you tell me more about the large area that it's in? Sure, that would be the region. Now we can consider downtown Oklahoma City, which is a neighborhood within Oklahoma City, a region because it's marked by some common characteristics like large, tall buildings, lots of business activity, and interesting things to do. Other things in this region besides Chesapeake Energy Arena include Myriad Gardens and the Cox Convention Center. Well, if we want to have some fun in downtown OKC this weekend, we're going to have to figure out how to get there. That ties into the geographic theme of movement. So we have some options. Do you think it would be a good idea to walk to downtown OKC from our neighborhood here on the south side? I don't know. It seems pretty far to me. So we may need to look up some alternatives, like the bus routes, or getting a ride in a car, or maybe taking our bicycle. So we'll need to figure out what kind of movement would be best to get up to downtown. The last layer I would like us to consider is HEI. How do human beings and the environment interact in downtown OKC? What should we be aware of if we're trying to plan some fun activities to do this weekend? Well, for one thing, we know that the Oklahoma River runs through Oklahoma City. So we might consider how we can interact with the Oklahoma River. Perhaps we could rent a boat or a kayak and go for a ride down the river. We could also think about what natural disasters might affect us when we're in Oklahoma City. Remember we talked about Tornado Alley and how tornadoes are very common here? We should probably consider how it'll affect us if a tornado occurs, and how we'll need to respond as human beings to be safe during a tornado. So you can see that in planning a fun weekend in Oklahoma City, we'd have to consider all 5 of the themes of geography. That's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about the 5 themes or anything else that goes in our class, feel free to contact me by email or by sending me a message in Canvas. Ta-ta!